Good afternoon, this is Christian with Tadlock Roofing doing another inspection, starting over the garage. As you can see, this is the driveway, and leading up to it, there's a lot of moisture being held into these shingles, and even though they're very sealed and intact, which is good, there's plant life growing out of them throughout the entire slope. Which means that there's moisture holding on there, and you probably have some rotten decking wood just from looking at it. Standing on it too, there's a couple soft spots. We'll go over this rake and onto the main slope of the house. We'll be touching base on ventilation. You have slight drag marks and impact damage just from the tree debris falling on top of the roof. This first tree right here is what's really hanging over, as you can see, but nothing major. There is another tree at the very edge, which I believe is on your property. And then the trees that were hanging over before now have been trimmed back, and nothing is hanging over this side of the house. On the very back half, I would recommend getting this tree trimmed back as well, because it's covering up that slope. It's providing great shade, but at the end of the day, it's probably damaging those shingles more than you think. I'd like to talk about ventilation. Like I mentioned earlier, is you have this nice long ridge line, and even the one up here, we can apply a ridge strip vent. It'll give the shingles a longer lasting life, because you're only at 12 feet on the main ridge and then another 6 feet back here, really not expelling the amount of heat that you could to really let the heat out of the attic and give the shingles the life that they need. There's a lot of foot traffic here, as you can see. Most likely when they were putting the tarp on, they were back and forth with chips and tears and certain tiny things like this. You can see that this has been like that for some time because the nail heads are rusted. When I come up, and there's multiple areas of loose shingles, but what I wanted to pinpoint is on this front slope. This is the easiest way to explain it. An architectural shingle comes with a couple of different parts. This is called a dragon's tooth, and there's adhesive underneath there. As you can see, that adhesive is worn off, and this is in multiple areas of the roof. But this is the best image I could give you of showing you that nail head is rusted out. And what will eventually happen is that those nail heads will start to be pushed up and water will intrude into the decking. Now, most likely this decking has felt as an underlayment, something that we do not recommend anymore. And we use a synthetic. Around the skylights, you have multiple areas. I don't know if you can hear that granule depletion sliding underneath my feet, but I would recommend doing away with these or putting new ones on. We will not be resealing these when doing the roof. Now, as for the main issue that we have the leak inside of the house. I spoke with the tenants. Nobody's home right now, but what they told me is that there's a leak, or an odorous leak, like mildew and maybe some mold coming into the pantry. And it's in this vicinity. I wasn't able to pinpoint the actual hole, because I do not want to take this tarp off. It's very well structured. It's pinned all the way down underneath on wood, and the tenant told me that he has a video and will be able to pinpoint the exact hole, so I'll be able to see the size of it and be able to determine how much work it's actually going to be due to repair that. In my professional opinion, doing a re-roof is definitely an option. I say a repair would get you a quick fix, but the life of this roof is heading towards maybe inside of 2 years. If we get another bad storm, you'll be looking at multiple issues in multiple areas of this roof. I do appreciate it, and I look forward to sharing this video with you shortly. Thank you.